This one's a little bit more special, this review, because it's about the Dell XPS laptops, because these have a special place for me. I've been making these videos, these tech chat videos for about 11 years now, and for a lot of those, I was using a Dell XPS. A lot of us were, because MacBooks weren't particularly good. Johnny Ive was making them thinner and thinner, and the Intel chips weren't amazing in those laptops. Whereas the Dell XPS, we had some of the beefiest specs, we had really futuristic designs, and I reviewed them pretty much every year. But then they sort of stopped innovating. And then to top it all off, Dell killed the brand, or said they were going to kill the brand last year. They were going to replace the XPS with Pro and Max models. They were trying to simplify, Appleify, but people kicked off. People didn't like that, and they said, no, XPS is important. You guys made some terrific laptops. Do it again. And so here we are in 2026 with new Dell XPSs. We've got the 14 and the 16. Although you'll notice these are the same size. I don't have a 16-inch with me here for a full review, although I did do a sort of first impressions with both sizes. But what's interesting here is that we have two very different specs. We've essentially got the entry-level model and a higher-end one with their tandem OLED and a higher-end Intel chip. And actually, even immediately, you can see the difference between those screens. This is the slightly mattified LCD. This is the very glossy, very reflective tandem OLED. So straight away, I am very pleased XPS is back. And they've even got rid of the Dell logo on the top and put XPS. They've like doubled down on this branding, although underneath there you can see it still says Dell. And without a doubt, these are high-end premium thinner light laptops. They're gorgeous machines, they've got pretty good specs, but they're also really bloody expensive, and I think that could actually be a deal breaker. But let's back up. What is new with these 2026 XPS 14s? Well, quite a bit actually. We've got this whole new design. This is the thinnest XPS laptop Dell has ever made at 14.6 millimeters. It's over 200 grams, that's half a pound lighter than the previous generation, despite offering longer battery life and better performance. And actually, this 14-inch laptop has a smaller overall footprint, slightly, than the MacBook Air 13, although it is a touch thicker and heavier. So, new design on the outside, and on the inside we have the brand new Intel Core Ultra Series 3 chips, aka Panther Lake, which are very good, and more on that in a second. We also have this new Infinity Edge tandem OLED display, although it is an option, you have to pay more for this. We get better connectivity, it runs quieter, actually a pretty decent webcam, which you don't see very often, and much better battery life. And they've just made some sensible refinements to the previous XPS design. This looks very similar, but they've added little edges to the touchpad so you can feel it with your finger when you go off the touchpad. They've improved the keyboard. I think the keycaps are a bit nicer on the feeling. A bit nicer on the feeling, feel a bit nicer to use, although it's still, what do you call it, not a chiclet style. All the keys bump right up to each other, which I know not everyone loves. There's probably a more technical name for that. They've also replaced the touch row with a proper traditional function row. Everything is just a bit more sensible, but while still looking very nice and futuristic. I love this soft texture to the aluminium chassis. It's a stunning laptop. And even under load, it doesn't get too hot or too warm. You can definitely hear the fans, but you know, it's not distracting. Lovely thin bezels, decent enough webcam, and even the sound quality from the 10-watt quad audio speakers is very punchy. It's loud and surprisingly bassy.
I'll burn the skin off your bones! Wow.
Although the downward firing speakers means it can sound a little bit muffled. And as I say, Dell very kindly sent me two review samples. A lower spec version with the standard screen, this is the higher spec with the tandem OLED Intel Core Ultra X7, which means we have the much more powerful Intel Arc B390 graphics. That's the top-end 12-core Xe graphics chip in here, and actually it is significantly faster, and I'll come to the benchmarks in a second. But for the most part, these XPS 14s are essentially a MacBook Pro M5 rival, like the base model of the Pro. Because we have the 120Hz screen, you know, we have fans, these are more expensive than the Air in either a 14 or a 16-inch size. And the specs are largely the same going to the 16-inch as well. What we don't have in any option with the new XPS is a discrete graphics card option, which is a bit frustrating. It would have been nice if there was maybe a 5060, 5070 option, maybe even just putting it in the 16-inch version only because there's a bit more space for it. But no, you are going to spend an awful lot of money on a higher end spec laptop, but without any discrete GPU. The good news though is that these Intel Panther Lakes, particularly in the graphics department, are very good. Oh, and just quickly, yes, they are Windows Copilot Plus PCs because these chips have enough TOPS on their NPU to power all that. But I'm not going to talk about AI. Let's talk pricing because it may make you turn the video off. although hopefully you don't, because there is more to talk about. The new 14-inch, the entry-level model with the LCD screen that isn't particularly nice and not the fancy, more powerful graphics, starts at £1,599, £1,600, which is ballpark what you'll pay for the new MacBook Pro M5, the base Pro. And that gets you an Intel Core Ultra 5 325 with 16 gigs of RAM, 512 storage, very nice, and this non-touch 2K LCD screen. Whereas the top spec model comes with the Intel Core Ultra X7, 32 gigabytes of faster memory, a terabyte storage, and a 2.8K touch tandem OLED display for £2,100. And there will be an even faster Core Ultra X9 388H coming a little later. As usual with Dell though, you can go online, look at their configurator, spec out your XPS, and it varies, the specs, the pricing between different markets. You know, you've got different options in the UK versus the US versus Europe. So yes, they're expensive, but not the end of the world, and a lot of the time people buying laptops like this are putting on their business anyway, so not crazy, and they are very nice, don't get me wrong. One thing that is irking me a little bit though is the displays. Not only the fact that the base option with this 500 nit 2K LCD kind of matte panel, but maybe the bigger issue is the tandem OLED. The idea of tandem OLEDs, which we've seen in other displays like on the iPad, I think Lenovo has a tandem OLED Pro Yoga, something. Anyway, tandem OLEDs are supposed to fix one of the biggest issues with OLED displays, brightness, and allow it to be much brighter. However, you've got the 500 nit LCD and the 400 nit tandem OLED. This is max brightness on both laptops. So I'm just looking at my monitor off screen. This, the cheaper one, the non-OLED, is noticeably brighter. Although, of course, you've got the nicer contrast here. My understanding is that Dell have not used a particularly high-quality tandem OLED display here. I mean, it still looks nice, and it does have the VESA True Black HDR 500 certification, and it is color accurate. I measured 100% P3 and 94% Adobe RGB, which is much more color accurate than the cheaper model. So for any color sensitive work, if you just want a more accurate screen, definitely go for the higher end model. Also, this is 2K resolution, this is 2.8K, so a little bit sharper on here. This is definitely the nicer screen, but you are paying more for it, and I just feel for that kind of money, and being a tandem OLED, it should also be significantly brighter than this. Also, this is matte, this is glossy, this is non-touch, this has a touch option. Around the sides, we have 3 Thunderbolt 4 USB-Cs, which is great to see. Plus, there is an audio combo jack, we get Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6, and that is about it. No HDMI, no SD card reader. But let's talk about performance. How capable are these with the new Intel chips? Well, between the two models I have here, the higher end one, the Ultra X7, was about 8% faster in single core and almost a full 50% faster in multi-core. And the X7's Arc B390 integrated graphics was almost 2.5 times faster. And the results were very similar in Cinebench as well. In the Puget Bench Photoshop test, the Ultra X7, with its 32GB of RAM, was 42% quicker. As for graphics, in the 3D Mark Steel Nomad test, the X7 was again 2.5 times faster, and that was the same on battery. And in the Blender benchmark, graphics scores were almost 3 times higher. Firing up Cyberpunk and running at 1200p with high settings, XeSS balanced, frame generation on, of course, because we have that now with Intel chips, the X7 with the B390 was twice as fast, at well over 60 FPS, and had a much higher FPS running on battery as well. And in F125, using the same settings, it was 45 and 52% faster on power and on battery, respectively. Impressive stuff. I'm glad we have the cheaper option, but if you're using this for any kind of demanding tasks, you know, video editing, a little bit of gaming, a bit of graphics design, I would definitely pay more and get the Ultra X7. The integrated graphics is so much faster. Although I would say, while the frame rates in the games I tested were quite impressive, Intel's XeSS2 upscaling and the frame generation are doing a lot of the heavy lifting here, and with them turned on, I frequently got some pretty obvious frame drops and even weird ghosting artifacts. It wasn't a seamless gaming experience. And also, while I am complaining sometimes when this wakes up from sleep mode, I've found that it can be a little bit sluggish to get started. And lastly, just out of interest, because I've got the new MacBook Air with M5, I ran Geekbench 6, and while that has a big advantage when it comes to single core, the X7 has a similar multi-core score, and keeps its integrated graphics crown. As for battery life, they both have a pretty healthy size 70 watt-hour battery. I've seen bigger in laptops this size, I've seen smaller. It's fine. Dell claim about 31 hours of local video playback on these. Well, on that one, the cheaper one, the Tandem OLED will be a little bit less than that. Although interestingly, in my YouTube streaming test, the Core Ultra X7 with the OLED display actually performed a bit better, lasting over 13.5 hours at 50% brightness, which is very good, with the lower spec LCD lasting around an hour less. So then, thinner, lighter, more refined, more powerful, longer battery life, better connectivity. It's a good upgrade from Dell, and I'm really pleased to see the XPS is back. Is there room for improvement? Yes, absolutely, but there is with everything, and I think pricing is going to be a challenge, but I'm really impressed by the performance, particularly with the X7 Ultra chip. And if you do want a premium, thin and light, ultra portable Windows laptop in either a 14 or 16 inch, in either this color or the other one, which I've forgotten the name of, and I haven't got here for testing, but I think this one does make more sense. It's more traditional XPS, then absolutely it's worth considering. I just think with this big relaunch, this big coming back from the dead, I was going to call it techromancy there, I maybe was expecting a little bit more. I would have also liked to see a discrete GPU option, you know, like a 5060, 5070 to get some of those RTX benefits, although of course that will make it even more expensive and power hungry and all those things. I also think the displays could have been a bit better, and as I say, it's just going to come down to pricing. But what do you think? Would you be tempted to buy a Dell XPS in 2026? Let me know what you make of these in the comments below. If you've got any questions, drop a comment as well. I'll try my best to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.